This is Los Angeles.
Greetings and welcome to our Los Angeles series. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd, rocking the what is that hat?
That's Los Angeles Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers, and that is baseball, right?
It's an LA hat, so there we go.
Okay.
I'm not a Dodgers guy, so but I like to represent my state. Most of my hats are LA Angels and
was
California.
Dodgers always California?
No, they were the Brooklyn Dodgers at one time.
Brooklyn, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we took it, made it better. Fuck the East Coast. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Dad.
I didn't even know it switched. Baseball's
my West Coast was showing a little bit too much, Still a getting over still a veteran of the East Coast West Coast war, but we'll talk about that on the
there you go. Well, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. So
yeah, well, no.
I didn't even know they took the Dodgers.
Well, the Lakers weren't here. Didn't start here either. That's
I don't think Lakers always were.
No,
you see how much I watch this shit, but no, we're here to talk movies tonight.
All those lakes we have in California.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm very excited to talk about the two movies tonight because I don't think they get enough love. One in particular gets virtually no love, and I'm eager to talk about it. But we'll start with our oldest by a couple years movie tonight, which is 2 Days in the Valley from writer-director John Herzfeld. And so 2 Days in the Valley. Take one wrong turn in life and who knows where you'll end up. For Becky, it's waking up next to her murdered ex-husband. For Teddy, it's the tail end of a failed film career. For Alan, it's being kidnapped by a crazy toupee-wearing Italian hitman. For Lee and Helga, it's letting that hitman get away alive. And for Wes and Alvin, two undercover cops cruising the valley for crime, it's just another day where everything goes wrong. 2 Days in the Valley. You'll live longer anywhere else. All right. So this is a movie that came out kind of in that wave, that post Pulp Fiction wave, where we were getting a lot of really good crime films, and specifically a lot of great LA based sort of crime thrillers, dark comedies.
Everyone wanted to be Tarantino at this point.
Everybody wanted to be Tarantino. In some cases, you could even argue there's some people that did it better in some cases. Maybe not Tarantino specifically, because he was his own.
Say that's hard to say. I know.
There were a lot of good non-Tarantino.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
but they probably would have been better if he was doing them. At least there'd be a few extra N-bombs.
A lot of that, lot more feet for sure. Charlize would be rocking the feet more. Speaking of which, that's a good place to start with 2 Days in the Valley before we deep dive too much into the movie. I remember being in LA when this was out or coming out, and that billboard with Charlize Theron, who was nobody at this point. She had one other acting job. This was basically the first major thing she did, which we'll get into. Very iconic. I have vivid memories of just that billboard back in the day, and I don't know, you just get this feeling that, oh, okay, this is going to be a big movie. I guess it really wasn't, but
what I did in LA, I don't want to go to the fucking valley. Fuck that.
Big star though in the making with her, which we'll kind of get into. So I mean, this movie, the genesis of this movie kind of kicks off pretty far back with the director. He had a huge flop with this movie called Two of a Kind, which was a Travolta film, if I recall. And it just, the studio fucked with it. It became a totally different movie than he intended. And it just took a dump at the box office. They were afraid it was going to offend religious people, and that's just, Hirschfeld had that flop hanging over him. And around this time, he was trying to get this adaptation of James Patterson's first novel, The Midnight Club, made, and that fell apart. In fact, Sylvester Stallone, if I recall, was supposed to star in that adaptation, which he is on the extras, which we'll talk about that because it's very interesting.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was the Grease reunion, because it was Travolta and Olivia Newton-John.
Yes, and it was that, well, not Midnight Club, that didn't happen, but
I know, no, that was the Paper Chase. Sorry, that's what I was. Wait,
yeah.
Sorry, Two of a Kind. That was the one I was referring to on that.
Yeah, one. Two of a Kind, and it did nothing. They thought, big thing. That's kind of a tale of his career. He had some success, but a lot of disappointment, which kind of bleeds into this film because it's a very personal film. After he had this issue with projects falling apart, famously, he was roaming through, I think it was Hollywood Forever Cemetery, or one of the major cemeteries there, and he's walking through, and he comes across a tombstone that says Dasmo Pizzo on it, and unusual name. And he starts just right then and there, just walking through the cemetery, brainstorming a 2 Days in the Valley script. He talked the entire script out in his head, and just kind of walked this cemetery and just had it transcribed. He didn't change a word from it. He just transcribed it all, and it came together shockingly fast, which, if you've ever been involved in Hollywood, either, trying to get a movie made, acting in a movie, wherever, nothing comes along fast. And this one, from him walking that cemetery and to the point where this movie started to come together, I think was like 4 months or something. Like it moved shockingly fast, to where it kind of became a thing. So after all this disappointment, there you go, 2 Days in the Valley. I think it's probably a case where, like you said, Pulp Fiction comes along, changes everything, and this whole concept and style of this movie, they're like, oh well, hell yeah, we want this. And yeah, Todd, before we deep dive into the movie, what's your history with this? Did you get to see it in the theater back in the day? Did you watch it on HBO, or because it got a lot of play on?
I was a video store. Yeah, I was there every Tuesday, or back then it would have been Wednesday and Thursday. 96, I think we were already to Tuesday was the established release day. Yeah, I saw it on VHS. I didn't. In 96, I was interested in other things. But this was when I read it, and I watched it when it first came out. Yeah, I was a fan.
Yeah, it's kind of just a story about Hollywood types, and literally everybody in this movie. I mean, I'm not saying I knew a hitman that killed people or anything like that, but personality wise, everybody in this movie is relatable. I've seen them all. I've known them all. It's a story about people who kind of have had their big breaks pass them by, and they're trying to reinvent themselves in life. And
Mm.
I really kind of enjoy this style, how everything kind of just converges, all their stories converge. And we mentioned Charlize Theron. This was I think she said this was like the third audition I think she ever had, which once again, from the acting side of things, you will go on what seems like a million auditions maybe
Yeah.
before anything at all happens. So that's also very rare to just barely just land in LA, not even be there a year, and then you're in a fucking movie like this. That's wild.
Well, the story is like she got a check from her mom in South Africa that she went to go check. She was like at the end of her ropes, end of her money, and they didn't want to check or they didn't want to cash the check. She at the end, at her wits' end, threw a tantrum, and I guess her beauty and tantrum caught the eye of an agent who was there, handed over a card, and
Yeah.
a few months later, here we go.
So being a Karen paid off for Charlize.
I don't think she was being a Karen. The tantrum's not the same as being that's a little different.
That's true.
That's like, privileged white girl type of shit.
Public tantrums to me are like more, I don't know. I guess it's a guy thing. I'm not going to show that too much in public. I'll just go and, headbutt the wall at home or something. But I apologize, Charlize. You're not a Karen, and I know you're watching this. So
no, absolutely.
They actually wanted to fire her because she had a horrible read through, and there was an actor who I don't believe they name, although I think Danny Aiello maybe is hinted at. And she threatened to, the actor threatened to quit, and agents were pushing for her to be axed and replaced. And the director, John Herzfeld, fought for her. He said, look, she's going to be a massive star within 2 years of this movie. And he wasn't off by too much. I think.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Just
she was, really by the end of the 90s. I mean, Reindeer Games, Mighty Joe Young, I think might have been her first.
Yeah, she got Harveyed at some point.
So yeah, created a huge star. But let's talk a little bit about the movie itself. So you have these. You have James Spader playing one of the hitmen. He and Dasmo, played by Danny Aiello, are discussing this job. And I don't want to give away too much because, again, this is a movie I think probably a lot of you have not seen. But their story kind of kicks it off with Terry Hatcher and her ex. There's double cross after double cross. You've got probably one of the best Danny Aiello performances in here. I thought he was particularly good. He's terrified of dogs, and that kind of factors into the story a little bit. The cast is just fucking insane for this one. What a Terry Hatcher is Becky Fox. This is prime Lewis and Clark, The Adventures of Superman era Terry Hatcher. Jeff Daniels, who plays a cop who is just obsessed with the busting massage parlors, and his partner Eric Stoltz, kind of the opposite. He's feeling bad for this girl and this massage parlor that Jeff Daniels is obsessed with taking down. Spader is kind of the more psychotic hitman versus Danny Aiello's a little bit on the lighter, the hitman with the heart of gold. We get some small roles from Louise Fletcher of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest fame. We get Michael Jai White. One of his early appearances is as Buck. Keith Carradine.
You know I'm going to call out. Yes, this is after he was already in Toxic Avenger, though. Of course, Toxic Avenger 2. Michael Jai White.
This is true. But one of his, I said one of.
I know what it was coming up.
And this movie is just hilarious. I think it kind of leans, thriller, dark comedy. I particularly like the director who is basically trying to delete himself. I love the scene where he's just walking his dog, and that guy came up, and it's like, oh man, you used to be somebody kind of speech, and he just kind of keeps going, and you could just see the light just kind of dying in his eyes. I thought was just so funny. And we even get Lawrence Tierney pops up in like just a tiny little cameo. Some of these names may not mean anything to you, but these are all just excellent character actors. And I think it's one of the best of this post Pulp Fiction wave. It's, if you like neo-noir, there's just so much to like here. And if you're just an aficionado of LA-based stories, I think that this movie is just wonderful. There's a newer Blu-ray out from Kino here, 2 Days in the Valley. I highly recommend you pick it up because there's also an extra feature, Sylvester Stallone and John Hirschfeld conversation. Really cool that Stallone did this for him. They kind of started out in Hollywood together, so it's a good conversation, not only about the movie but about their relationship, some of their stuff that they almost worked on and did work on. He directed, I think, the third Escape Plan movie. Second one's the one that's unusually bad, but
the third one isn't much better. It's better than the second one, but it's
second one Stallone considers the worst movie he ever made. So that tells you something.
And he's got a couple stinkers.
It's just the scene, like, I thought, where his toupee falls off. Just everything, like, it's just pitch perfect comedy. My favorite scene in the whole film is when Cosmo is held up in this house, and he's got the hostages, and he walks in that room and sees that dog statue with the artist's face like superimposed on the dog, and just jumps out of his fucking shoes. I that was just so funny. And again, Teddy, I believe, was the character's name. That was just because he's wanting to end it all anyways, so he just keeps baiting the hitman. I love this. If you guys haven't seen this movie, you really should jump on the new Blu-ray. It's Kino, so they're always having sales.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you pick it up. Todd, favorite character, favorite moments in this one?
Geez, I don't. You threw me off. I wasn't. Yeah. Fuck.
Cut.
Yeah,
You don't have anything.
No, that's all right. No, so I don't know what to do there. Well,
do you just not remember?
I can't think of anything specific right now.
Okay. I'm just trying to think how to get back into it then.
Let me just think of something. Who do I like?
Yeah,
I got some. All right.
So you want me to
no. You asked me. Not necessarily a standout, but I did want to bring up the Eric Stoltz thing. And I don't know. I think that and the Pulp Fiction connection probably helped him with this part. I think that might have not my favorite character, but but if you really forced me and made me, I'd have to say I did like Danny Aiello. He's probably my favorite, but
what is it about Eric Stoltz? Because I mean, he's had a great career, but he's one of those guys I really would have expected more time, like on the Oscar stage and still knocking out bangers. I don't know what it is, because he still looks the same too. He's aged fairly well. He doesn't look like an old man.
Because I think Hollywood's just like, yeah, that's the guy who couldn't hack it Back in the Future.
But that didn't exactly kill his career. There's still a lot of good stuff.
I mean, I don't. Whoever cast that was fucking dumbass. Anyway, yeah. I mean, he had a good career in the '80s. Really, though, the '90s, he just kind of, it was still pretty active. It's
still active. Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, he can do comedy. He can play a really nasty fucking villain. When
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is about him, but I always just see Eric Stoltz.
Like I get that.
He doesn't really disappear, and I don't know if it's a ginger thing or what, but I always just see Eric Stoltz.
You've got like some raging, just hatred of red-haired people, Todd. I don't know what this is.
I do not.
Todd sees a freckle and he just wants to punch it.
I have freckles. What are you talking about?
I don't know. You keep bringing it up. It's like, I can't buy you as anything. You're just a ginger. Good God. Like,
no, I said look like I did. That's not what I said.
That's exactly what you were implying, Todd. It's just like, it makes no sense. You look like a pepperoni pizza. Like, how am I supposed to buy you as a hitman or a cop? Come on.
How many gingers have won Oscars? I don't know. Are we gonna get canceled now? Can we get canceled for gingers shit now? I don't even know.
I think you're okay with gingers. There's a lot of icons.
I'm part ginger. I got freckles and everything. You just can't tell because of the brown part of me.
Dana Delaney, I believe.
Ginger? See, it's weird.
It's hard with some actresses because they change, but no, I believe she's a natural redhead. Julianne Moore.
Yeah, I don't like her either. Girl, she actually grows.
Oh, dude, Julianne Moore is one of our great.
I only like fake redheads. Those don't bother me. So Christina Hendricks is a good example.
She might be a redhead.
No, she is not. She is a blonde. She is a fake redhead.
Oh, okay. I mean, like I said, in some
you can tell looking at her, she's not a real redhead. The porcelain skin might throw it away, but
So you can't watch. So you hate Julianne Moore, one of the greatest actresses currently.
I don't hate her, but I don't look at her like, ooh, I'm gonna slide my dick in that ginger ass.
I'm not talking.
Oh God, do I have to cut that, or is this a Patreon exclusive line at 23 minutes?
No, that's fine. You're 23 minutes in, or whatever it is. You're good. No, I admire her acting, and I admire her ass, Todd. Come on.
Well,
what's wrong with you, Chloe?
I just imagine she's exactly like she is in The Big Lebowski in real life, and I don't want to, get my dick anywhere near that.
Okay. Well, I was talking about her acting, Todd, but you had to go and sexualize her. That's fine.
Oh, no, you brought it up, the whole ginger thing.
That's fine, Todd. I mean, you think women are objects. That's you. That's
okay.
That's you. But back to
he wants to bang every single one of them. Calls them meatballs off the air.
Bullshit artist. Back to this movie. The one thing I really wanted a little bit more out of Jeff Daniels' character. There are a couple here where it's like, I just want a little bit more. You could have almost done a follow-up to this.
I know. I think Jeff Daniels was your arch enemy in this thing.
Oh, that's
Like,
fucking
this motherfucker! How dare you try to shut down these poor women trying to make some
that
money.
would have been a funny scene if Eric Stoltz tried to take him to a titty club. Just, you want a lap dance? Fuck off, whore. It's also wild to like watch these because Jeff Daniels is one of those actors that is also fantastic and everything.
Wasn't he
But
like?
I
Was gonna
feel
say,
like he had issues like post Dumb and Dumber because it's just like, oh, that's that dude that like took a shit for like 2 minutes on screen. Like he's so talented, but he did kind of feel somewhat marked by that for a minute. Like I said, not that he stopped working; he did tons of movies, but
well, no, I think
yeah,
they figured out. Well, ironically, with the movie called Trial and Error, they figured out. Yeah, he wasn't going to be a comedic actor. Like without,
wow,
like he wasn't going to lead a comedy, I should say.
wasn't that Michael Richards vehicle from Seinfeld?
Was he in it too? I just remember Jeff Daniels.
I think Michael Richards
Yes,
was.
he was. It was both of them. You're right.
Yeah. I remember seeing that in theaters, and
Oh.
I could not tell you a single fucking thing about the movie. I know I saw it, and I don't think I ever even watched it again on video.
I mean, he did Pleasantville also, like right after too. But I mean, yeah, it took him a minute. Like he didn't really
Yeah,
like. Yeah. So
it was a good time for movies right around this period, just that mid to late, not mid 90s to like the early 2000s. There are so many bangers out there that you probably haven't even heard of. Just independent films, specifically like again these sort of crime thrillers, dark comedies. There's just so much good stuff, and I'm amazed that this. It's kind of like that mid level movie where if you're a serious film fan, you've probably heard of it. You probably, if you're old enough, watched it on HBO or Showtime back in the day. But it hasn't achieved that status where like everybody talks about it.
well, we're just getting into that era with the '90s pictures where they're starting to really get
Yeah,
a little bit of love and get rediscovered, and hopefully, us doing stuff like this is going to continue that.
I
But
hope so. I hope so.
yeah, no, it's just like the '90s doesn't really get the love of the other generations.
Yeah, I think you're kind of maybe there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I,
I'm getting nostalgia for that era, but I mean that's my favorite era is the '90s. So
yeah, well, not even just movies, just that era in general.
last great decade.
It's what a lot of people say.
No, that's what it's called now. The last great decade. That's like the official title of the '90s.
Like it's fucking over after '99. It just all
The internet, where we're on right now. I mean, it changed the world. I mean, there's no arguing. Like,
yeah,
it's
mostly for the worse.
because now, like, I look at music and movies now. Like, the point of most of these things, like the direction, like especially with music, they wanted to make it. They wanted to create something. Now it's they want to get famous. And when the goal
I
like
agree.
that changes, the content suffers. Yeah, like
It sounds ironic coming from YouTube, a couple of YouTubers, but yeah, I do see that a lot. Like, it's not like I want to do good work. It's like I just want attention.
yeah, that's why there's 10,000 SoundCloud rappers and they're all shitty, except for you'll find one good one. It's just like, yeah, it's not.
Were you about to say Doja Cat, Todd?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, that's what it sounded like about. I was like, that is like the dumbest of the fucking dumb.
I don't have an opinion on them, so
I don't know. I just like this is a thing now. We've got somebody meowing, and that's like a fucking.
is that why she meows?
I guess I
There's
don't
a
know.
certain wrestling fan that always meows.
Anytime I'm like
Sorry.
in a car with my nieces or nephew now, and I'll see like what they're watching, I'm just like, is like your entire generation just like devolving now? Like, what's going on? because this is dumb. This is dumb.
To be fair, I mean, there was dumb shit when we were kids too, but
there was dumb shit, and I get that, but not. It's a different kind of dumb now. It really is.
Yeah, but you're an adult too. I get it. It's different, but it's still nah.
I just don't really like. I don't know. Especially like at a certain point, you moved on from the dumb shit. So it's.
I don't know. Snoop Dogg's making children's music now. It's pretty. My kids.
Weird
Doggy Land.
weird times. But yeah, I love Hollywood stories. I see myself in some of these characters. Again, not the like murdering people
I know
shit.
Which one you don't. That goddamn damn you Jeff. I was gonna say Jeff Bridges. Jeff Daniels.
You could have easily have had Jeff Bridges in that role. He probably would have been a little meaner. Like, goddamn slutch. I don't know. Did that sound like Jeff Bridges?
Not even. I don't know what the hell that was. That sounded more like
maybe Lloyd Bridges. I feel like that might have been closer.
That sounded more like Eric Stoltz in the mask makeup. Damn.
That sounded like Charlton Heston, like raging against whores. Like, these goddamn dirty whores. I'm gonna clearing up the streets. We really derailed this review.
I know. We're still on movie 1 and 30 minutes in.
But it's a great movie.
It is. We should probably rate it then, huh? What else do you have to say about the movie other than it's fantastic? You should see it.
I don't want to give away how all the stories converge.
I don't want to say it's the definitive Valley movie, though, because there's no karate in here, whatever. So sorry, Karate Kid's still the definitive movie about the Valley.
This is better than Karate Kid's not a fucking Valley movie, Tad.
Oh, it's literally that's the whole thing. The whole movie takes place in the Valley. It's 1,000% a Valley movie.
It's just
make me call Bob up.
It's just Rocky. It's just the same.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely just Rocky, but it's also a very 100% a Valley movie.
I'm not saying it doesn't take.
You're arguing just because you don't like Karate Kid. All of a sudden, now you're fucking like, no, it's not.
I'm indifferent.
It's the Valleyest of most Valley movies there is.
It is not 2 Days in the motherfucking Valley, Todd.
Yeah. Well.
It absolutely is not. That's not the first thing. When I think Karate Kid, I'm thinking like,
oh no, I'm the Valley, 100%.
Wise old man turns teen into a ninja. That's not a Valley story.
100% a Valley. Yeah, you watch a movie. That is the fucking 80s Valley.
I disagree. I want people to weigh in the comments on this one. You have to have seen.
You're also not a Californian, Dan.
I've spent a lot of.
Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit how long you're not. You know how long I've spent in California? Longer than you.
That's fine, but I have better taste in movies because Karate Kid is not a fucking
which
Valley
was a better movie. I said the Karate Kid is a more Valley movie, not a better movie.
I've seen Karate Kid. I don't view that as just it. There's more going on. It'd be like
fine. You've never been to the Valley, or you don't recognize it. That whole thing is the fucking Valley. The golf and stuff, everything. It's like such a Valley movie.
All right, I'm not. It is like 5% a Valley movie. This is a 100%.
Well, you're 100% wrong, Dan.
100%. This is a Valley movie. It's in the fucking title, Tad. That's how much.
All Valley Karate Tournament. Right in the fucking title. See, that movie's so Valley. It didn't even just say it in the Karate Kid. It's not the Valley Karate Kid.
So. Well, whatever. You could have switched the Karate Kid to fucking New Jersey.
Again, it has nothing to do with that, Dan. I'm talking about where they shot it at, the settings. It is 100% a Valley movie. You keep trying to make some extra rules to make it what it is or it isn't. You keep wanting to talk about the content of the film.
I am
not.
Okay, Star Wars. It's a movie about a guy discovering who his father is. That's not the first. That's true, but that's not the first thing you say. Karate Kid is a movie.
I didn't say that, Dan. It's not the first thing I say either. I said that is more of a Valley movie.
I would say the Valley is a character in 2 Days in the Valley.
Yeah.
And that makes it the definitive Valley movie. What do you rate it, Ted?
I'm a 4.5. I do really like it. It's there's better pictures, but it's upper echelon.
I also am a 4.5. A couple like like I said, a little things I would have wanted just a little bit more out of a couple of the characters. And this is the type of film that it could be a much longer movie, and I'd still be in. There's enough going on.
But yet, I'm glad it's not.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good run. Like, yeah, I could take some more of it, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. So I do enjoy, that.
Yeah. I sit through these like 2.5 hour movies now that don't justify the runtime at all, while something like this could. But
you're telling me you could have took a frame out of "I Spit on Your Grave," Deja Vu, and made it. I'm not. No, just leave that alone.
Good God. Not everything is gold.
It was funny when I called it the end game of RRR movies. And the star responded, I don't think she meant I was kind of like talking shit when I said that, because it's too fucking long. You should have "I Spit on Your Grave" longest fucking end game. Jesus Christ. But okay.
I like the star of that movie very much.
I do
she
too.
was good. Yeah. Jamie Bernadette.
Yeah, I know. She was not the problem with the film.
No, that is textbook. Like, sometimes you have to have somebody that says like, hey, I get it, but we don't need this to zoom in on this shot of the fucking bush for 30 seconds. Let's cut it and let's move on.
Yeah. One day a fan of it.
Yeah. So sometimes producers are right. There are cases. All right. So from that movie, which you probably have at least heard of, to one that you probably have not. And this was like the main feature that I wanted to talk about on this show.
And it's a prequel, right?
Huh?
The prequel to Friday?
It is a prequel to Friday. It is in the Friday franchise, and anybody that's going to do it, you're going to talk about the Friday films. You got to check Thursday, 1998 film from writer-director Skip Woods. And in this film, Thomas Jane, Aaron Eckhart, supermodel Paulina Poroskova, James LaGrosse, Michael Jeter, Glenn Plummer, and Mickey Rourke star in this no-holds-barred, erotically charged thriller that packs a lifetime's worth of action into one day. Casey Wells, played by Thomas Jane, a former shakedown artist from the mean streets of LA, has gone straight, or so he thought. When his ex-partner in crime, Aaron Eckhart, appears one day with the mysterious suitcase, Casey's comfortable suburban life is turned upside down. Suddenly, murderous drug dealers, a gorgeous, sexually voracious brunette, and crooked cops are trying to kill him. If Casey lives, he may wind up with hidden millions his old pal stole in a drug scam. But if he wants to survive until Friday to meet Ice Cube, Casey's going to have to revert to his old lethal habits. All right. So I am a massive Thomas Jane fan. Always liked him.
Borderline, I question it, but yes, you are.
Thomas Jane is the man. Huge fan. I remember seeing him at probably the first time in Nemesis back in the day, the Albert Pune film. Very early.
And that's when you first fell in love.
There you go. Never got that. I never got that call to appear on Hung with him. But
I know it's the two guys I confuse all the time in the leads. Thomas Jane and Aaron Eckhart. Like, which is which?
I was gonna say, Aaron Eckhart. Also a big fan of his.
But I do definitely mix them up. So them being related was perfect.
Really, because this is going to be a love fest. I mean, I already kind of hinted at it. But yeah, two guys who they just hadn't quite exploded yet, which is why I feel like maybe this is just one of those movies that just kind of came and went, and is remembered just because for the simple reason is I don't think anybody really saw it. The director was a one and done director, but he was a screenwriter, is a screenwriter. Did Swordfish, the Hitman movies, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, Sabotage, Good Day to Die Hard. Wrote a bunch of stuff, but this was basically one and done movie. And it is a fucking wild ass film. There is Paulina Poroskova, somebody else don't really hear much about, but good lord, is she sexy. And there's a scene, much like, again, I got to be careful YouTube words, but she has her own. She initiates a struggle snuggle with one Thomas Jane in this movie, and it is quite graphic as far as some of the language and
Got my approval.
there is a scene where she inserts fingers and makes him smell it. I'll just put it that way. It is very like this is a graphic film. It reminded me of that scene with Clint Eastwood and Sonia Braga in The Rookie, because you don't generally see that because he's like, "You're not gonna be able to make me," and then she just like gets him hard in like 2 seconds, and yeah. Interesting interrogation techniques in this. So this one is, once again, very R-rated. In fact, I believe this is later in the game for him to do this, but Roger Ebert, I believe, was one who complained about this movie just going too far. And usually kind of cooled down by the 90s, but he had a huge issue with it for, just having an issue, I guess, that day. But once the shit hits the fan, good lord, is this movie insane. He's sort of, again, he's moved on. Aaron Eckhart stayed in this life of crime. We have some flashbacks to show the incident that kind of led Thomas Jane trying to go for a more, white picket fence kind of life that he now has, getting the wife and doing all the basic shit. And this, man, it is just like basically a story of the worst day of a guy's life. He's dealing with these people coming to kill him. You got corrupt cops, led by Mickey Rourke. I was about to say Mickey Rooney, and that would have actually been fucking hilarious. But
is he reprising his role from Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Where's the money? And he just like cock punches him.
Too bad he didn't get to. Did Mickey Rooney finally die? I don't even remember.
He is dead, Todd. Yes.
Okay. Well, too bad, because we could be having the photo ops in his Breakfast at Tiffany's. They get the Chiller Theater shows. Pugs would be first in line.
And then you walk to Ballroom A and you get your photo op with Kevin Spacey. Pugs is just in heaven. Just I met John Doe.
Hey, let me feel what was in the box.
He signed my ass for free.
That pen felt really soft,
though. We're worse than what happens in this movie, Todd. Oh my God, Michael Jeter. Were you an Evening Shade watcher back in the day?
No, not
the Burt Reynolds.
I know. Yeah, no, it wasn't. That was. Yeah, I wouldn't call that wait. Was Evening Shade a sick? I thought that was a detective.
Evening Shade was a comedy sitcom.
Okay, I thought it was one. Okay, I'm thinking of one.
I remember my mom just watching that.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Michael Jeter's another just great character actor. There's a scene in here where he's coming in because Thomas Jane's wife, I think they want to adopt, and he's like a caseworker making sure, everything's in order. And at this point, Paulina Poroskova's hit woman character is there. So he ends up kind of going through all this shit and having to talk to her there, and she's talking about how she did an adult film, and Michael Jeter's just sitting there like super straight laced, and she starts talking about like getting railed by like six cocks, and it's just, you can tell him just that stern kind of dude is just like starting to break. Dealing with this ridiculously hot woman that's sitting there talking about her adult film career. The tension in this, I love these just like one day in the life stories, where it just slowly escalates, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. This one blows my mind that more people are not out there talking about it, and I put it over as probably one of your next favorite movies that you've never seen. I really do. James LaGrosse, also,
too, Mike,
yes,
who should have kept playing it in the rest of them, but whatever. You made the switch. We like old Mike. We did.
He comes in, and I'll just say he basically blows a character's head off, and his name is Hillbilly, and and he comes into it and is like, man, we just like fucking killed your neighbor. We got the wrong house. Just the way he delivers these lines, again, I'm not doing it justice, but and he's coming in, he's like completely batshit. Pretty much everybody in this movie is, but I'll just say the line, God damn, did you see that bitch's head explode? This movie, it breaks some taboos that, for sure. I mean, there's the scene with Paulina basically rubbing her pussy cheese on Thomas Jane's lips. That was a little bit more graphic than you'd expect, and there's one particular taboo that's kind of a spoiler involving and leading to why Thomas Jane is trying to be Mr. Good Guy now, and there's some racism in this one too. Again, not that the movie's racist, but there's a character that is, so there's certain language used, and I think that kind of maybe factored into some of the reviews that thought it went too far. But you're dealing with psychopaths and criminals, so this is the type of movie that has balls. If you made it today, it just wouldn't get made. And this isn't something we're almost in the 2000s here, and this movie couldn't be made today, which is just so sad. I will say this is more a Thomas Jane movie than Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart isn't in it quite as much, but
we also have to disclose, Dan, which you did not disclose this when you pitched this for the LA show. We do go to Houston for a majority of the film.
Well, yeah, we do. So but it's still technically.
It starts there. That's what I'm saying. I'm just pointing that out there. If someone's like, well, this movie's like not in LA anymore.
I wanted an excuse to do this one.
I understand, but I'm letting
the first film is more of an LA film. Definitely more, but this is still more of an LA film than fucking Karate Kid, Ted.
No, that's a Valley film, not an LA film. Different.
But man, I love every actor in this.
No fucking Valley film.
I love
that's probably the most Valley movie, actually, because it has the Valley speak too.
I will give you that. Yeah, Valley Girl is not my
That's like
favorite, but it is.
no, it's
Yeah.
but it's got the lingo. It's I know.
Side question for you: is Valley Girl still a thing, or is that kind of something different now? I had
What do
this
you mean?
discussion with the typical like Valley Girl, like clueless Valley Girl, like that sort of. I don't know how to put it into words, but the ditzy
They
kind of
weren't even
Valley.
That wasn't even. They weren't even. Yeah, I guess they were still Valley Girls, but they'd evolved. Yeah, that I don't think that the Valley's not what it was anyway. It's a more ghetto too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you would
So
say
they'd
it's
be
not like
used to
that
going to
anymore.
North Hollywood and end up at Circus Liquor. They
Because
wouldn't
I
be
had this
thinking that.
conversation with somebody who said, "Oh yeah, you still have Valley Girls," and I was like, "I don't think you
I
really
mean, there
do."
still are. I mean, yeah, there still are, but those are the people who play it up too, though. People still talk like that. But yeah, it's not like it was. I mean, it's faded away. If people are still talking like that, it's more retro. So
Yeah, I feel like it's interchangeable with other areas. It's just that
yeah, it's
specific.
not. Well, no, that's everything though. Like the youth of now, it's like they don't. There's a shared culture. Nothing is regional like it once was. Like there is still regional stuff, but I mean, with the internet, everything's opened up to everyone. So it's not like you don't have a regional as much as you used to. Like Valley Girls, that was like California, that was it.
Yeah, there's certain things like
Like it's a
uh,
shared, lingo.
they're not going mud bogging in like L.A. But
Right.
yeah, you're right. Like it does feel like people are just kind of becoming
Generic.
one generic shitty kind of thing. Um, unfortunately, but
I'm not going to say shitty kind of thing because I like people, so I don't hate everybody. Except
I
Dan.
don't hate everybody.
You hate everyone young.
I hate everyone young. That is true. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Kruger you told me you hate him on the show.
Not
Goddamn.
well, not Kruger, but Kruger's closer to 30. Well, how old? I don't even know how old Kruger's got to be getting close to 30, right?
He's I think he's 10 years younger than you. I think he's
Okay. So yeah, close enough. All right. Todd, I cannot tell you how much I fucking love this movie.
I know you were very excited. That cover though, it's so just so
It
like
is. Yeah, the
are we
cover,
reversible on that one or no? It's a Kino one. I don't think it would be.
it's not reversible.
Because
No.
even the other artwork where the guy tied up in the chair, I think they used that on the IMDb display picture, which they do. Yeah, at least that one that feels like the era. That does just looks like I don't like that collage of just squares. It's unfortunate because I think at least with the '90s cover with him tied up in the chair and the gun and like you got Mickey Rourke, and I think it feels like a crime picture. That I don't know what it is. Could be a romantic comedy for the ladies. All I know, Thursday and a bunch of little pictures of flowers.
I don't disagree. I mean,
Oh,
this is one of those ones that I think was just easily overlooked. Because again, Mickey Rourke is certainly in his declining phase in '98. He's a long way from Barfly at this point, and
Barfly, good drop.
very good drop. I am Mickey Rourke, dude. Maybe one of the most disappointing careers as far as his talent versus what he was able to do, but one of the best actors when he's on his A game. Mickey Rourke is a powerhouse actor.
Oh, look at the wrestler. I mean, Jesus.
Oh yeah, the wrestler. I mean, really a lot of the early stuff he did, you can see how this guy was ready to conquer the world. And he's excellent in this as well. I mean, you could just see the menace that he could deliver, the charm he could deliver. Just he was a super talented dude that just he had his demons, and unfortunately, they bogged him down quite a bit. I still remember interviews about him bitching about Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which was his biggest payday. And he even says it. He's like that was like the one that they backed up the money truck, and he had to say yes. Controversial, I haven't watched it in a while, but I don't feel like that's such an awful movie.
I know Chris McGibbon loves it. One of our former co-hosts, friend of the show.
Yeah, I'm not like, again, it's been a while. I'd have to watch it again to give a seal of approval, but I remember like, okay, this was entertaining. Don Johnson, Mickey Rourke, action movie.
I don't remember anything like I watched it when it came out and that was it. I've never watched it again.
Maybe we'll pencil that in at some point when it makes sense.
We'll see if we get Chris to come on and talk about it too, because he loves the movie. Like, it was weird. I don't know. It's like, do you have a crush on Mickey Rourke?
Hey,
when he was fawning over the Flawless in the Birdcage, I mean, I get it. But then those were like his three, like MGM. I was like, really? Okay.
I'd have to go revisit it. I mean, again, it's not a perfect film. It's just like when people start talking about like awful movies, I was like, you know what? I don't remember hating that. I'll have to go back. But yeah, no, so many.
Did they get sponsors for that? It feels like, yeah, you couldn't have a fucking Marlboro Man in the title of a movie now. They're like, oh no, this is NC-17.
You could just picture like trying to make like a Mac and Me product placement movie with Mickey Rourke. Mickey, you need to hold up the Big Mac so people can see it. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to my trailer.
Fuck that piece of shit movie.
Mac and Me is better than
I will never buy it.
You like the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
No. There's a difference. I know that's a piece of shit, and I love that it's a piece of shit. It's just as big of a piece of shit, but not as much of a big as a piece of shit as Mac and Me. Mac and Me is literal garbage. It's a fucking McDonald's commercial.
The dark ending.
See, now that would have changed it. If they used the dark ending where they die, I'm in.
That was a great ending. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, I think maybe Garbage Pail Kids movie is like where it started to all go wrong. Something like it just caused a glitch in the Matrix.
I saw that movie in the movie theaters on opening day, and it was literally in the smallest theater they had, and the screen was probably about as big as the one I got in my house. They also shoved us in there when we saw Menace to Society. For some reason, like, oh, we're putting them in the small theater. We're keeping them all off of it. So Garbage Pail Kids and Menace to Society on the smallest screen opening weekend on both of them. I'm not going to say it was racist or anything that they put fucking. Well, it was funny though when the beeper went off. Everyone in the theater checked it, so I was like, "Oh, was that me? Oh, fuck, it's the movie." Pretty hysterical. I'm sure that happened in every theater it played in '93.
This is true. I kind of skipped that. I never had a pager. Never had a need for one. But yeah, just back to the movie real quick. Paulina Poroskova, another person, like a thing for a minute, I guess. But you watch this and it's like, holy shit, how did she not just get a bunch of big offers after this? I mean, she's beautiful, nude in this, by the way, for those curious, and just batshit fucking crazy. How did she not like get an Eileen Wuornos kind of role given to her after this movie? And James LaGrosse, once again, I said it, kind of wish they had stuck with him on Phantasm at that point after 2.
I've always liked Paula Marshall too.
Yeah. She's in this as well.
Glenn Plummer, right around the time of Showgirls, right before Showgirls, he pops in here.
Yeah, Glenn Plummer, who's a hitman that's also trying to get him his, I believe it was music career off the ground. So there's a scene where he's like getting ready to like kill Thomas Jane, but he can't because like his agent calls. I love everything about this movie, man. This is the definition of a gem, a 90s gem. I really genuinely hope people will pick up this Blu-ray and let us know what you think. And this is not a screener or anything. It's not something I'm trying to pimp. I'm pimping it because I just love this goddamn movie so much. And you know what? As much as I enjoy 2 Days in the Valley, I'm going to go ahead and give this one the full 5.
I'm actually on par. I'm a 4.5 on this one also. But if I had to put one over on the 2, I'd probably give this one the slight edge.
Okay.
So,
There is something very unique about this that I think a lot of people are going to connect to it right now. I could have used maybe just a little bit more of actually having Thomas Jane and Aaron Eckhart together. Because again, like I said, more of a Thomas Jane movie in the house, just dealing with this this compiling shit of people trying to kill him and figure out where this money is that he doesn't know. I should also say, since we're talking a little bit about the Blu-rays, there is an audio commentary by film historian Sally Christie on this one, and an interview with Thomas Jane. So for a lesser known movie that you'd expect to be not a whole lot about it, there's quite a bit. The interview with Jane's pretty cool. He talks about actually he had done the Crow City of Angels and had a fucking double hernia from that movie. And when he was making this, he had to basically tie like something around his dick to like hold the hernia because he was in so much pain shooting this movie. So that was a funny story. He talks about an acting class he did with Marlon Brando, which basically is like over the next, I can't do Brando, over the next 8 weeks, he told him he would turn into a woman. So basically, he was doing these acting classes, and he was like slowly changing his appearance. And I don't know, some of the madness of Brando. Those stories are always really funny. Good interview, short interview, and the commentary also is quite good. Yeah. Roger Ebert, check out his review of it as well. It's really funny because it offended him. I would pitch this as, and others have made this comparison, it's somewhere between Tarantino and Kevin Smith. That's kind of like the feel of this movie. So 5 stars. Check it out. And guys, be sure to check out patreon.com/fleshwindfeatures. We have a lot of exclusive uncensored shows on there. And check out our other LA content, our hood approved reviews,
which doesn't necessarily have to be LA. We'll probably hit Houston and a few other hoods too as we go along in that one.
Yeah, we're leaving that one open. So there's
hoods everywhere.
As long as it's hood approved by the Hat Man, it counts. You have to tune in. All right. So on that note, good night. Come Again Hard. Karate Kid is not a Valley movie. And yes.
You're right. It's the All Valley movie. Money's on the dresser.
Cool.